welcome to your reading. So we have the Emperor, we have the Five of Cups, we have Forgive Someone, we have Lemuria, Creating Heaven on Earth, It's Happening. Okay, and we'll get to your Thera-Pets messages at the very end of your reading. With the Five of Cups card being here and this Forgive Someone, I do think that, and this may have been someone from your past. This doesn't have to be something recent, although for some of you it may be something that just happened. But regardless, someone really disappointed you. I mean, you thought they would never do a certain thing. You thought they were a better person than they turned out to be. Your expectations with what they were capable of, your expectations for how they would treat you, a lot of it honestly was also rooted in assumption. You assumed they wouldn't hurt you in that way. You assumed they would never cross that line. You assumed that they had enough respect for you not to do a certain thing. So it was your expectations and your assumptions about this that really ended up breaking your heart here, because there was a betrayal, there was a disappointment. And I think it kind of threw you for a loop, because I think in some ways this person isn't all bad. And so I think maybe you just tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, or tried to see the best in them when maybe they didn't really deserve it. Or maybe that's just how you are in general. You know, you don't like to think too negatively about anyone. Or I think honestly, sometimes when you are a good person and you're honest and you're fair, you kind of assume that everyone else is operating from that same perspective. You know, you just assume that because you're telling the truth, you're acting within a certain moral code, other people are too. You know, I think truthful people assume that everyone's being honest. They don't assume everyone is lying. I think liars assume liars a lot. I always feel like sometimes, and this is just my own personal bias now, but sometimes I feel like sometimes the people who have, I guess, like an automatic negative thought about someone, or they assume the worst in someone, is because if they were in that position, they would act that poorly. You know, people who have a really negative worldview also are themselves negative. But anyway, that's just my own personal bias. But with this Five of Cups here, they disappointed you. They really did. I mean, and I know people talk about this card, and you even see the cat here looking at the spilled milk. Like, oh, the Five of Cups isn't that big of a deal. You know, it's just, you're crying over spilled milk. Get over it. And I hate that interpretation of the Five of Cups. I hate it. Because yes, in the long run, is this Five of Cups going to matter? No, it's not. And in the context of your reading, this person wasn't really contributing anything to your life that was of value anyway. They weren't who you thought they were. They didn't have good intentions towards you. You assumed wrong. Your expectations of them were too high. They were never going to meet them. And not saying that your expectations were wrong, because I think your expectations were, this person's going to treat me with respect and dignity and be honest. And those are very fair expectations. But I think this person's operating at such a low vibrational energy that they were never going to be able to meet those expectations. That's why I say they were too high, not because what you were asking for was too much. I want to clarify that. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's sad, but I think when you're in that moment, it does hurt. And you have a right to feel hurt. You have a right to look at that spilled milk and say, man, this sucks. And feel that, honor that. No one's telling you to ruminate on it, wallow in it, but feel it. Feel that disappointment. Feel that hurt. Because if you try to repress it and say, you know what, they don't matter anyway, and try to move on too quickly without letting yourself feel what you need to feel in this moment, it's going to come back around again. And it's going to sit there. and it's going to sit there in your energy, and it's not going to help you to drag that around. And so, yes, forgive them, but forgive them in your own time. That's the second part of the message. And we always know forgiveness isn't about the other person, it's about setting ourselves free. And if you feel like whatever they've done isn't something that can be forgiven, can it at least be forgotten? Can you at least come to a place to where you're indifferent towards it? Because the goal is really to just separate yourself from that energy. The goal is to cut that energetic tie, because you don't want to be tied to the negative energy of whatever it is that they've done against you. That's the goal. Like, the goal isn't to forgive them for their benefit. The goal is to separate you from this energy because it's dragging you down. And with the Emperor, you got bigger fish to fry, right? And that's really what Spirit is calling you to do with the Emperor card here, is to be the bigger person. And that's not too difficult, because whoever hurt you in this scenario, we already said, they're operating from a very low vibrational energy here. And I think a lot of it is fueled by jealousy with this Lemuria card, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Something about you, this person felt intimidated by. Something about you made them feel insecure. Something about them wanted to essentially kind of have the upper hand. They wanted to feel better than you. They wanted to feel better than you. They wanted to be the one who was in control of the dynamic. They wanted to be the one who had the upper hand. And I think with anything is possible here, if you feel like, I don't know if I can forgive this person. What they did to me, it hurts, especially if this is a fresh wound. Give it time. Give it time. I mean, really give it time. Don't force yourself to come to a place of forgiveness before you're ready. Or, like I said, if you can't reach a place of forgiveness, if it's just acceptance or indifference or just forgetting it, getting it out of your mind, just give it time. Because ultimately, you're bigger, better, and stronger than all of this. Because it is petty. What they did to you is petty. It's a petty action from a small person. And I just feel like, honestly, this energy is a distraction. You have, like I said, bigger fish to fry. You got stuff to do. With the Emperor, anything is possible, creating heaven on earth, it's happening. I think you have some really good stuff going on in your life. You have some really great things that you want to achieve. You have goals for yourself. You have a whole life outside of what this person did to you. And is it worth your time and energy? No. But like I said, at the same time, don't rush this process. If you need to feel upset about it, give yourself the grace to feel upset, feel whatever emotion you need to feel about it, and really feel it. So if you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream into a pillow, scream into a pillow. Do what you need to do. But once you have felt those feelings, then it's time to stop thinking about it. Then it's time to let it go. And again, if forgiveness isn't something that you even want to strive for, at least trying to forget it, put it out of your mind, or reach a place of indifference once you have felt what you needed to feel. But I think it's going to surprise you and shock you how you are able to forgive this person, because I do feel like all of you are capable of forgiving this person and letting it go for your own benefit, for your own freedom, for your own highest good. And I mean, I've been amazed at the people that I've been able to forgive in my life. So, I mean, it will surprise you. And, for some of you, and this is just, I think maybe for literally maybe one person watching this, if you've done something that you're ashamed of, If this is talking about you are the person you need to forgive, you've in some way acted in a way that isn't in alignment with who you are, you can reach a place of forgiveness. You can reach a place of self-acceptance. We're human. We all mess up. And anyone who is sitting here thinking that they're perfect is lying to themselves. And don't forget all of the positive qualities about yourself. Don't forget how wonderful you are just because you made a mistake. Okay? Again, I think that's maybe just literally from one person. All right. Let's go ahead and look at your Thera-Pets messages now. I will say as well before we read your Thera-Pets cards, your reading also reminded me, and I'm so sorry that I keep referencing Real Housewives, but on Real Housewives of Potomac, I had referenced Candace's relationship with Chris in I think it was the couple's 2024 prediction, and I couldn't find the clip that I was searching for that particular reading, but I found a different one. And in that clip, she was saying, essentially, because someone was attacking her relationship with Chris and making up like falsehoods about it. And she essentially said, like, I'm not doing this today. I'm sitting over here on a yoga mat. I got things to lose, things to do, and I don't have time for this. Not today, Satan. Like, that was her vibe. If I can remember, I'll put that clip for you in the description box. But that's really kind of like your energy with the Emperor. You know, like, I'm a boss. I got bigger stuff to worry about than this. So I'm gonna feel angry right now, but I'm gonna leave it where it is. And I'm not gonna give you any more reaction, any more fuel to this fire. Because I will say, I think when people hurt us, sometimes they want an audience. Sometimes they want fuel to the fire. They want you to say something back. So then they can run and post about it on social media, or they can run and tell all their friends and their family or their partner, you did X, Y, and Z, and then you said this. Like, they want to gossip about it. They want to make it into this big dramatic production instead of having an adult conversation about it. And I feel like you're not giving them that. You're not giving any life to what they've done to you. You're not giving it any more life. You're not giving them the reaction that they're wanting. Because I do think for some of you, this person has wanted to provoke you to anger. Now with these Thera-Pets cards, if you're watching this on your cell phone, feel free to screenshot this and you can kind of refer back, because I always think they're just really sweet and supportive messages. But we have, you will survive this, and you will, group one. We have, just because you feel like trash doesn't mean you are trash. I feel like this person has really tried to undermine your self-esteem, or tried to make you feel bad about your life, or tried to shame you in some way. Yeah, I feel like they have acted so badly that it's hard for you to even remember the good about this person, or you're at a point to where it's like you've acted so badly, everything I thought about you is now thrown into question, because I do think you were giving them the benefit of the doubt, or making excuses for them, or just trying to see the good for so long that it's like, okay, now that milk has been spilled, I have to face the reality of it. I can't focus on just the positive anymore. I do have to see the negative. I think that Five of Cups is actually a really positive card in your reading today, group one, because I feel like this is the first time where you have really faced the negative, ugly truth of this. I think before, you were always focused on those upright cups, always focused on what you assumed about this person, focused on whatever little good they have done for you. And now you're facing those turned over cups. You're facing the truth of how they really feel about you and how they've treated you and their actions and their behavior. Again, I just always feel like the Five of Cups is such a misunderstood card. I really do. People act like you're just supposed to get over it. But it hurts. It can really, really hurt. If you've been in the Five of Cups before this, I'm sure you already know you're in it right now, but it hurts. It really hurts when you assume the best in someone, or you have certain expectations about someone that, again, like there's a line that they wouldn't cross and then they do. It hurts. It really hurts. But yeah, I'm so sorry that this person has tried to make you feel this way or tried to shame you in some way, but you didn't deserve it. And we have trying your best is all that matters. The rest will fall into place. I feel like this is talking about that process of forgiveness that we were talking about. And again, if it's just forgetting or indifference, strive for that. Do the best that you can with it. Because like I said, the goal is just to separate you from this energy, to not have it become emotional baggage that you drag around with you everywhere. So group 1, my heart goes out to you in this situation. It really, really does. And again, you did not deserve it. You didn't. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Group 2, welcome to your reading. So we have the Magician, we have Page of Cups, we have the Community card, we have Longing for Home, Belonging, the Original Lightworkers, we have Change One Thing Today, Start Small, and we have Turn Criticism into Kindness. Now your Thera-Pets cards here will get at the very end of your reading. Listen, Group 1 was rough, and I feel like you also need a hug, Group 2. I'm so sorry. So the message that you're meant to see today is that you really, really will be able to manifest your soul family. There's just this feeling here that you've been surrounded by people where you never really felt like you fit in, you never really felt like you belonged. You know, you always felt like the black sheep. You always felt like the oddball. You always felt misunderstood. And I feel like the sad part about this is, with the original light workers being here, is that you're someone who's very compassionate. You're someone who understands what a lot of people are unable to understand because they lack the empathy. They don't have the capacity. They don't have the emotional intelligence to understand. So I feel like you're always in this position of understanding human nature, of understanding pain, of understanding trauma and how that affects someone. I feel like you just have this incredible capacity to love and to give and to express empathy. But I don't feel like that energy is returned for you. I just feel like you're always in this place of understanding others while you consistently are misunderstood. And I feel like I'm going to have to really edit this video because I feel like I'm pausing a lot, but it's hard. Like, speaking through this reading feels like there's a weight on my chest. I feel like you're walking with a heavy heart. There's just this feeling of loneliness, this feeling of I don't belong, I don't fit in here, I don't resonate with this world, I'm not from this world, I feel like an alien. And it's painful. And so you just keep seeking and seeking this light. You keep seeking a gathering of souls that you will resonate with. You have so much light that you share with others. You're this beautiful, positive energy. But, you know, if the sun is so bright and the sun is giving off all of this warmth, its light is so bright, it can't even see beyond itself. And I think that's part of this, is that you feel so alone. You feel like everyone sees you, but they don't understand you. You think about it, if you looked directly at the sun, that's painful, right? Like, it's terrible for your vision. You're not supposed to look directly into sunlight. It's like your light is so bright. You're operating at a completely different wavelength. I can't even begin to understand you because I can't even really look at you. I can see you, but I can't even really. It's like, it's just like your soul is being expressed in a different language and there's no ability to translate it. And so you're in this role of constantly feeling like you're helping other people, but who is helping you? And then I think you can get really down on yourself. And I think for some of you, and this isn't for all of you, but with this Magician card and the Page of Cups and turning criticism into kindness, you may be unintentionally manifesting negative things about yourself or about your life because you have this inner critic that constantly tells you that you're a misfit, that you will never find your people, that you're not good enough, that you're not lovable, that there's something wrong with you, that you're not a desirable person to be around. And so then that is perpetuating this narrative that you don't belong, you don't have a home with anybody. And it's a shame because I feel like you express so much kindness to others, but when it comes to turn that kindness inward, you don't always do that. And so I feel like if you think about how overwhelming this feels, to feel so out of place in life, to feel like with this Page of Cups, your emotional needs are not even being remotely met. that's going to feel paralyzing. It's going to feel too daunting to be able to do anything. And again, it's like this weight on my chest, like the words are so forced. Your heart is so heavy. It's heavy. It feels like this sinking feeling. Like, you know, when your heart feels, I don't know, like your heart feels so heavy. It's like it's sinking into your chest, and like it's almost like in your stomach. Like, I can't get my breath out. I can't hardly talk. So with this change one thing today, start small. That's the guidance here. That's the advice. If you're unhappy, if you feel like you don't have your people, if you don't like the way you talk to yourself, if you don't like your relationship to yourself, if you feel like you give too much, if you feel like you give without limits, if you feel like you people please, if you feel like people take advantage of your light, anything that you're unhappy with, make one small change. Don't try to fix your life overnight. And by the way, you don't need fixing. You just need a better way to relate to yourself and understand your place, understand your function in this life, and understand that you are not the only light worker. There are other people like you out there. Are they harder to find? Yes, but that doesn't mean you give up the search. And you can manifest. You can manifest your soul family. You can manifest people that you resonate with. But continuing to perpetuate this narrative in your mind that you're the lone wolf, misfit, black sheep, whatever you want to call it, like you don't belong, you will continue to feel that way. What we think, our words have power. And I don't care what anyone else has ever told you or said to you or how they made you feel. Your words have more power over your life than anyone else's words ever will. No one can hurt you without you first giving them permission. Oh man, I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt who said, you know, what other people say about you isn't really your business. You know, if it was something like, the opinions of other people don't matter unless you say that they matter. No one can make you feel disrespected unless you give them permission to disrespect you. Don't give it any weight. Don't give it any attention. Don't take that on. I think so often the self-limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, that we're not lovable, that we're not good enough, that we don't deserve X, Y, and Z, is because we were taught that. Those messages didn't come from within us. They came from outside of us, and we were told those messages over and over again, either through words or through actions. You're not good enough. You're not lovable. You don't deserve blah, blah, blah. We start to mistake their voice in our head for our own, and we start to take that on as if it's our truth. If you're told over and over again that you are not lovable, you start to believe it. It's like you've been brainwashed. And I've said this before on this channel, if you think you have low self-esteem, look around you. Who's around you? And what messages are they telling you? Sometimes those problems within us have a lot to do with what we're being told by the people closest to us. Is anyone around you undermining your self-esteem? Who taught you to hate yourself? Because you weren't born that way. And keep in mind, you're a light worker. You can manifest. You can work very closely with the divine. You can call in your people. And think about how strong you would be if you had that support. Think about how much good you can do in the world and what you can contribute if you did have that support. The universe wants you to find your community. They want you to have help. They want to see you have support. And for your Thera-Pets messages, if you're watching this on a phone, if you want to, I recommend just screenshotting these cards because I think they're really sweet and supportive messages. And, you know, if you watch a lot of tarot readings and you forget about this one and you just need to pick me up, you can refer back to that photo and say, hey, I remember this message. It meant a lot to me, or it helped me. Okay. We have, you are strong enough. You will rise above the ashes. You will find a way to become whole again. And we have, you are not a burden. We are lucky to have you. This last card for me is sort of summing up your entire reading. You are not a burden. We are lucky. We, humanity, is lucky that you exist. How fortunate for the collective that a soul like you is incarnated and is here living amongst us, because you're raising the vibration. You're contributing light. You're good vibes. Okay, you're good people group too. And maybe that's part of it, that this you are not a burden. Maybe that's what you were taught, that you're a burden. You know, if you feel like you're a burden, you feel like you're bothering other people just by existing. You feel like you're a drain to other people just by existing. And with you being a light worker, it's the exact opposite. You are like photosynthesis to the soul. I mean, you give life. You give people energy. You don't drain them. It's the exact opposite. And Phoenix from the ashes, I mean, you have been through it. You have been, I'm seeing the Ten of Swords, like left for dead. You have been abandoned. You have been hurt. You have been cast aside, and yet you still rise again and again and again. Give yourself credit for how incredibly strong and resilient you are. Don't let someone else's lie about you become your truth. I want you to leave this reading with that message. Don't let anyone else's lie about you become your truth. Just sit with that for a minute. Do me a favor. When you click off this reading, I mean, sure, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But when you click off this reading, just sit for a second and reflect on that. Just for a minute. Just give it a minute. Because I feel like that is so significant for you guys. Don't let someone else's lie about you become your truth. Just sit with that. I think it's really going to help you. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. reading. I will say you got extra cards compared to the other two groups. And looking at your spread right now, I feel like that's because your message is a little bit more time sensitive than the other two. There's an urgency. There's a feeling of like, we need group 3 to get this. We need group 3 to understand what we're about to say, absorb it, be receptive to it, like take it to heart. We need group 3 to pay attention and to not only hear this, but also be open to what we're saying. So I won't postpone this any longer. Let's go ahead and get into it. We have the Two of Cups. We have the Queen of Wands. So you could be Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, or have those energies, pretty significant in your birth chart. But if you don't, that's okay, but just take it as confirmation if you do. We have the Six of Cups here. We have Mirror, who or what is triggering you. We have Step out of your comfort zone and try something new. We have the Portal. We have Springtime Renewal, and we have Keep your thoughts positive. Now with your Thera-Pets messages, we will read those together at the very end of your reading. With this Portal card and the Mirror card, you see how she is looking at her reflection in the water here. It's making me think of alternate timelines, how there's other versions of ourselves in the multiverse existing at this very moment, living our life, but different. Our life if we had made different choices, right? A different version of us that is still somehow us. And I don't usually make big proclamations like this, but group 3, you're about to shift into a whole different timeline, and you are meant to do this. You're about to jump into a different timeline. That's the portal. That's the springtime renewal. I think especially if you have been in a period where you have felt stuck and stagnant and kind of like I'm in the winter of my life. Like so much has gone and left me, and I'm healing and I'm recovering and I'm kind of in a hibernation of soul. Especially if you have felt like that, this is saying the light is coming back in. It's time for a new chapter, but it's a whole shift in your timeline. And what this is aligning you with is someone who is very key, very central to your soul family. Now, for some of you, this could be romantic. This could be your soulmate, life partner. For others of you, this could just be someone else in your soul family that is meant to help you achieve something that is in alignment with your soul's purpose. But they're asking you with this Queen of Wands to be brave, to be open. When that door, the portal here, opens up to you and that opportunity presents itself, because they're telling me an opportunity is going to present itself in your life kind of out of nowhere. You are meant to say yes. And when you say yes to that, it's going to be a big step outside of your comfort zone. It's going to be totally new. They want you to be positive about it. They want you to be optimistic about it. They don't want you to get negative. They don't want you to second guess yourself, talk yourself out of it. They want you to go for it. Because once you say yes to that opportunity, you step through that portal and you're in a different timeline. For you to meet this soul family member, again, whether it's romantic or platonic, you are meant to meet this soul family member. They are meant to help you in a major way. And they're meant to teach you about love. They're meant to teach you about love. They're meant to show you your triggers. They're meant to show you your scars and teach you about love. They're meant to show you what healthy love looks like. Again, if it's through the lens of romance or through the lens of friendship, It doesn't, or even if they're a mentor and you're an artist and you're meant to learn about love through expressing your creativity. I mean, this could play out in many different ways, right? But they're meant to teach you about love. And I don't mean just romantic love. I mean love in its entirety. And we always say the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And that's a big part of this. Through this connection with this soul family member, you come to love yourself. And I think part of this journey is currently being hidden from you. They don't want to give too many details because I think this portal, this timeline shift, you saying yes to this opportunity, it creates such a massive ripple effect of change in your life that if they were to tell you everything all at once, you would feel so overwhelmed. I think you would feel scared of messing it up. I think you would just talk yourself out of it when you're meant to say yes. You're meant to take a leap of faith. You're meant to be optimistic and brave and just go for it. And I like that the Queen of Wands came out for you. Because if this was the King of Wands, the message would be, take action, do something about it. Change your life right now, do something about it. That's not the message. You are meant to be receptive. Divine feminine energy. Be receptive to when we open this portal door, when we present you with this opportunity. And I'm hearing you'll know it when it comes. When that moment comes, because the Queen of Wands, the black cat, there's always a black cat on the Queen of Wands. If it follows like red or white, right? And here, there is no, the black cat is the queen. But anyway, intuition. Intuition. You will know. You'll feel it. You won't be able to explain it logically, but you will know when this opportunity is, the portal opening up for you. You will know. And you will know I'm meant to say yes to this. So you're meant to just sit still for right now. Be receptive to this opportunity coming in. Divine feminine energy. But when it comes in, you need to embody that wands, that fire energy, and take action towards it. So wait for your opportunity, but when that chance comes along, say yes. And you see with this comfort zone card here, her eyes are closed. You're meant to just have faith. You're just meant to trust. Even when you can't see the outcome, you're just meant to trust and go for it. And speak positivity into existence. And with springtime renewal, I'm sure it does hurt a little. If you were a flower after like a harsh winter, and the ground was frozen for so long, and then you're breaking soil, I'm sure part of that is uncomfortable. I'm sure part of that hurts. But you're meant to bloom, you're meant to shine. The Queen of Wands is a queen that demands to be looked at. You're gonna see her. You can't look away from her fire. You can't deny the force of her. Because even if you look away, you're going to feel the warmth of her fire. You can't help but notice the Queen of Wands. And with the sunflower, optimism. Optimism. Like we said, the light is coming back in for you. And I think for some of you, and this is just maybe for a few of you, I do think that part of your soul's purpose involves some level of public recognition, involves some level of fame, like people knowing who you are. Even if it's like, I'm really respected in my field, I'm known at being the best at what I do, or I'm really well known in my community. Like a small town celebrity. I mean, it could be different levels, right? You could be known within a certain community, like, people who do a lot of charitable work. And so people who are in that world know what you do. This is just kind of like a side message that I'm getting that's coming through. Or some sort of like online community, like you have a following on social media. You're just meant to be seen. I think a lot of you try to hide yourself away when you're meant to be seen. There's something about that. Again, that's just a side message. The biggest thing is just to know that this portal is coming. This opportunity is coming. And they want you to be brave, and they want you to take it, and they want you to be open to it. And when you do that, that's when you align to this person. And I think the second part of that is that you're open and receptive to that connection. That you're willing to open up your heart to it. Again, whether it's romantic or platonic doesn't matter. Even with friends, if we're going to have an authentic friendship, we still have to be open and vulnerable. We can't sit there and hide who we are. We can't sit there and tell half-truths about ourselves. Or keep it light all the time. You'll have a superficial, friendship. And hey, I think, some superficial friends are fine. If you just have friends that you just laugh with, you don't have to open up your heart to everybody. But I think for this connection, yeah, you're meant to, because it's a soul family member. You're meant to. It's meant to be a deeper connection. It's not meant to be superficial or lighthearted. It's not. It's meant to be real. It's meant to have depth. You're meant to do real work together. They're showing you what love is. That's heavy. I will say with the 6 of Cups being here, and this is just maybe for 1 or 2 of you, there could be a pregnancy as well. Again, maybe just for 1 or 2 of you. But if that's the case, your child is a member of your soul family. Like, you're going to have an especially close connection with that child. Like, you are meant to guide them into doing something really incredible. Like, your child, why am I hearing like the chosen one? But that's what it kind of feels like. Like, your child will be almost like a pet project for the divine. Like, we have big plans for your child. Big plans. They're meant to do something important. And we chose you to be their mother or to be their father for a reason. We needed you to guide them. Again, very specific message. If it doesn't resonate, please leave it. Okay, for your Thera-Pets messages, we have you are enough today, tomorrow, and always. We have a bad day doesn't mean a bad life. Tomorrow will be different. And we have it's okay to float along. It's okay to just be. This last card came out twice. So the first time I was shuffling, I didn't really feel like I was focused enough. I could tell like my mind was distracted on something else. So I was like, okay, let's take some deep breaths, refocus, reshuffle, and it came out again. So you are definitely meant to hear that message. It's okay to float along. It's okay to just be. That's that divine feminine energy. Just go with the flow. Like, don't try to change anything on your own right now. Just be receptive, because that opportunity is going to come that's going to open that portal, and then you take action. Then you say yes. But right now, we just need you to be receptive. And with a bad day doesn't mean a bad life. Tomorrow will be different. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be different when that portal opens, when you have that opportunity come in, when you shift timelines. Your life is going to dramatically change. When we talk about shifting timelines, that's you stepping into a whole elevated version of yourself. This is all divinely guided. This is more than just you connecting with a soul family member. This is an entire timeline shift, and that connection being a domino effect of change in your life. And we have you are enough today, tomorrow, and always. You are ready for this. You are fully capable of saying yes to this opportunity and getting out of your comfort zone. So don't feel that imposter syndrome. Don't second guess whether or not you're good enough. Don't worry that you're going to mess it up. Just go with it. The universe wouldn't present you with this opportunity if they didn't feel like you could handle it. The universe never gives us more than what we can handle. And that's why they always say, if you have had a really challenging life, the universe, God, the divine, whatever terminology you want to use, they think you're really strong because they gave you a heavy cross to bear. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading.